Why is sustainable fashion so important? Nowadays, we are unaware of the critical situation in the social, economic and environmental spheres due to the consumption habits of the fashion industry. What's happening? The textile industry is the second most harmful to the environment. The UN described the fast fashion industry as an environmental emergency, as it produces 20% of wastewater globally and 10% of the carbon dioxide that is released into the atmosphere. Furthermore, as there are 52 micro-collections a year, consumers buy more clothing than in the year 2000. And since these clothes are of low quality, they are not designed to be long-lasting. This causes environmental pollution that threatens the health of the population. And what is happening to make people change? Sustainable fashion is finding its place within the industry. It's been complicated, but there are more and more festivals, courses, contests and programs. However, it is a change of consciousness, a change in consumption habits. Sustainable fashion is more than a luxury. It is a necessity, because of the conditions we live in. We are running out of natural resources and we have to think, what will we leave for our future generations? What do we have to do to make this trend fashionable, but eco-friendly for our planet at the same time? So as designers and entrepreneurs in the industry, we have to make a change to make the damage reversible. Industries are also sensitizing themselves and are seeing that they must create innovative techniques, analyze where they can be sustainable, and inspire the customer. It is absolutely a company-wide job. Communication, marketing, entrepreneurs, designers must all create a very strong initiative so that the desired objectives can be met. We have to be able to see the design aspect, as well as decent working conditions for the workers and the reduction of the carbon footprint. Fortunately, today's customers are worrying more about what is going on behind the brand, wondering why it is so, why it costs what it costs, who designed it, who made it and why it was designed. This is helping, and people are opening up the panorama, which before was simply buying for the sake of buying, and now has a reason why. What about sustainability? This trend was seen by Cool Hunters in 2015. The tricky part is that for a product to be sustainable, many factors are involved, including materials, production and purchase, paying employees fairly, and preserving natural resources. So if you adhere to one of these as a designer or as a company, it will already mean a big change. It would be a big change to use materials that are easy to recycle, for workers to get fair pay and have the right working conditions, or that the production is committed to the environment. This can be achieved both by the small designer or the big company. The consumer seeks to have information about this when making a purchase. Current consumers, especially new generations, are looking into what is happening behind the brand, the story. Marketing can play a very important role here. Different attractive strategies can be carried out for the market and encourage people to get involved in what is happening with the brand and not just buy for the sake of buying. So this part of sustainability seeks to bring back the trend for clothing to be durable and of good quality. Sustainability involves the circular vintage second-hand economy, donating in a conscious way, fair treatment, employment in suitable conditions, materials, biotextiles such as bacteria cultivation, recycled textiles, organic textiles such as coffee, pineapple, coconut, hemp, corn, cellulose-based, soy-based, and the number of inventions of organic textiles is ever increasing. Methods such as zero-waste fashion and 3D printing can be implemented more in accessories and clothing, or natural tinting, which is to return to painting with indigo, flowers, cochineal, plants, among others, so as not to use any chemicals. Fortunately, large brands have already started to generate this change, including Stella McCartney, Adidas, COS, and more companies that are slowly developing sustainable collections or doing something for the environment. So, little by little, we are seeing the change and the way of thinking. Likewise, with documentaries, we have access to the information which can help us grow, understand the situation, and be responsible consumers. What is zero-waste fashion? It's a movement that has gained strength in recent years. It's not generating waste in the creation of a garment. It arose in response to mass production, side effects, and the huge industrial impact on the environment. So we need different options, and among them we have a wonderful one so that designers can apply these techniques both in their workshop and in a company. Zero waste itself is a philosophy of life, to not generate waste. Zero waste fashion follows methods developing techniques that involve pattern making, textile intervention, designing in a different, sustainable way, but at the same time creating something usable. Learning these new systems with a new logic. This will allow you to use your tools as a designer and be able to structure your designs in a different way. Using this methodology, you can design in a more intuitive way, little by little making a method that can be industrialized. It is a huge advantage to the designer's creative process because it opens the mind. It is very different from what they teach us in traditional pattern making. It is to generate silhouettes that are not predefined by the shape of the body. It is the creation of unconventional garments. How did zero waste start? In ancient times, patterns made use of 100% of the fabric. For example, the kimono, where waste is minimal. It is practically made with pure rectangles and the textile waste is minimal. For this reason, it is a benchmark for zero waste. Madeleine Viennette, in the 20th century, created a dress which is inspired by the Greeks. What she did was put together 4 square pieces of fabric and created a very beautiful, simple and timeless dress, which is what we have to achieve, garments that are timeless. There are 2 ways to make zero waste fashion, through the pattern or using recycled fabric patchwork style. Today, fortunately, there are lots of designers who have dedicated themselves to this method and have exploited it. Each one has an interesting method. Among them, we have Daniel Silverstein, who is very famous for his patchwork designs. Holly McKillen, she created the zero waste fashion base pattern. This New Zealand designer gave the parameters to follow this method and creates patterns with different figures that are functional at the same time. Timo Rissanen, together with Holly McKillen, has been developing different patterns and together they published a book on the subject. Carlos Villamil, a designer who takes advantage of the fabric in a different way, divides it into geometric shapes and forms designs from this. Yue Li Teng is a designer who makes patterns from geometric figures that are attractive and usable. In Work Experience Fashion, you can do the Zero Waste Fashion online course, where you can learn different techniques and get started in sustainable fashion. It means experimenting with new techniques and not staying in the traditional sector. It is a way to differentiate yourself and recover national production. It's a new design methodology that seeks to solve a problem on the planet. For this reason, we invite you to be part of the Work Experience Fashion community to get to know the courses and, as representatives of the design industry, to be aware that we have to generate changes to improve and help our community, country and planet.